Alright guys, so today I'm going to be doing a review and wear test for the Lawless Conseal The Deal foundation. This is supposed to be a full coverage foundation. This foundation retails for $39. You can get it at Sephora. I purchased this at Sephora and I got this in the shade Sunlight, and Sunlight is described as a light medium with warm neutral undertones. As I was kind of like watching review videos to figure out which shade to get, I kind of felt like a lot of times people were getting a shade that was actually too light. Like they get a shade that they thought would work for them and then it kind of leaned towards the lighter side. I don't know if that's totally true, but that's kind of what I was seeing as I was watching review videos. I have used this another time, and I actually do think that this is a good match for me. When I first tried it, I thought it was maybe too light of a shade, but I think it's a good match for me. So I'm gonna try it on and show you guys. So again, this is the shade Sunlight, described as a light medium with warm neutral undertones. So I'm just shaking this up. This is a very liquidy formula. This is a liquid formula. It's supposed to be full coverage, long wearing, hydrating, vegan, and it is clean at Sephora. I have used this one time before, so I kind of have established some thoughts on this just from initial use, but I'm gonna be doing a wear test today to show you guys. So here is what the product looks like. It's very, very liquidy. Kind of reminds me of those like oil-based foundations like the one from CONCEAL, or maybe even the Ilia Skin Tint, though I think this one is definitely even like lighter weight than the Ilia Skin Tint. The Ilia Skin Tint has that like squalane in it, so it has more of that like oilier feel to it. This one is just super lightweight. It doesn't feel like oily. So I don't know if I just applied way too much, but I'm gonna go with this, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use a brush to blend this in. I'm gonna use this Merit Beauty brush. Super soft, really like this. You can also get this brand at Sephora, but any brush you have is totally fine. And I'm just gonna kind of stipple this in to try to get the most coverage. And you know, when I was initially trying this out, I could definitely see that it's not providing as much coverage as like I thought it was going to, because you know, it says it's supposed to be full coverage. I'm sure you can totally build it up a bit, but you can definitely see some of that like pigmentation poking through. But what is really nice is normally I cannot apply foundations with a brush because it'll look heavy and cakey, but this doesn't. This looks really, really nice applying this with a brush. I find that it works super well. Now this definitely has like that, like definitely dries down to a matte finish, and I have combination acne-prone skin. Most of what you see on my face is leftover hyperpigmentation, so we're gonna kind of put this to this test and see how well this is going to cover that hyperpigmentation. I don't really have any active blemishes right now. I have like two here that are healing, but they're pretty healed. So I don't really have like many active blemishes to like test it on. Have that kind of like a scab right there. But yeah, so like in the camera, I feel like this shade looks a little bit light on me, but I feel like it's pretty close. Maybe it's a little bit light. Definitely gonna want to apply some bronzer and stuff to warm up the face, but it blends out super nicely. And I do think with my combination skin, like this definitely feels like pretty dry once it settles. It's not like anything terrible, but I do feel it just feels somewhat dry on the skin. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to build this up a little bit. So I'm just gonna take a little bit more. I don't know, maybe that was a lot bit more. Just gonna dab this kind of, I guess, all over my face, but also kind of mostly in those areas of my cheeks where I have that pigmentation. I don't have much on my forehead that I want to cover, so won't put as much there, but yeah, I think that's good. I'm just gonna take some down my neck as well. So initial with first application too, I would definitely say it's like a light medium coverage, maybe a light medium coverage, because like I feel like on the camera it looks like it's providing more coverage than it does in person. I mean, it's still giving some nice coverage, but I definitely would not say full coverage, especially not with that first layer, that first application. I can still see a little bit of my marks poking through. Let me get a little closer so you guys can see that. So you can see a little bit of the hyperpigmentation poking through, but it looks really pretty on the skin. Definitely looks really, really nice. It looks quite skin-like. Now with that second application, I can definitely see it starting to get like a little bit heavy around my mouth. I'm gonna try to blend out with a sponge as well, just to make sure everything is blended out nice and evenly. I didn't want to use a sponge to start off just because this is such a liquidy foundation. I feel like if you just applied it straight with a sponge, it would probably take a lot of the product away. But now I'm just going to kind of blend out with a sponge, make sure it's blended out really, really nicely. Make sure there aren't any brush strokes or lines or anything. It looks really nice on the skin. Now, I definitely still do not think that this is quite a full coverage, but I definitely say like a medium coverage now with the 2 layers. And it looks quite nice on the skin. Just looks a little bit drying kind of around my mouth and a little bit around my nose, but like on the cheeks, it looks really nice. So then I'm going to just apply the rest of my makeup. I'll apply my concealer here on camera. So this is the Ilia Serum Concealer. I have this in the shade, SC at 1.75 Burdock. And I'm not going to do all of my makeup on camera. I don't know if you guys care to see that, but I'll post a whole video. I'm going to do a full face of Lawless, or mostly full face of Lawless. But I'll skip past that for this video so we can just focus on how this foundation wears. I'm also going to use the Lawless setting powder or setting spray on top of this for the final step of this makeup look. And that'll kind of be incorporated into the wear test as well. Now I am going to go ahead and apply the rest of my makeup, and then I will be right back. I'm going to apply the Lawless Glam Guard Long Wear Setting Spray. This retails for $20. It's supposed to be long wearing, giving natural finish, it's supposed to be hydrating. It's made without silicones, it is vegan, and it is clean at Sephora. It is described as a refreshing, weightless setting spray with a super fine mist that locks in makeup, hydrates, and soothes so you look fresh and flawless all day. And this is supposed to be good for normal, dry, combination, and oily skin types. So it has like one of those like balls in it to shake up the product. And I have used this once before. This definitely has a very, very fine mist, which is really nice. So you're not gonna get like splotches of like spray on your face. So this is really nice. Now, if you are sensitive to scent, this does have a scent to it. It kind of gives me like a citrusy smell. Looking at the ingredients, I definitely think it's a citrusy smell because there's lemon peel oil in here and orange peel oil in here. So that's probably what that like citrusy scent is coming from. Oh, yes. And then it also says it has lemon, orange, and bergamot essential oils, which are supposed to help to soothe and refresh. So that's definitely where that citrusy scent is coming from. So this has elastomer gel in here, which transforms from light and watery to a velvety matte veil. So definitely, like, once this dries down, I do think that it does feel pretty matte. I actually kind of wish it gave a little bit of more like hydration to the skin, because I definitely feel like my skin does feel a little bit dry. And I do have combination skin. This also has spherical elastomer powder, which absorbs oil, reducing shine for an even mattified effect. So this is supposed to be a makeup setting spray that's going to be mattifying. So if you like a mattifying setting spray, this might be one that would be worth checking out. All right, guys, so I just finished applying the rest of my makeup. If you guys want to see how I created this look, it's a full face or mostly full face of Lawless. I will have that video up on my channel very soon. It might already be up depending on when you're watching this video. But anyway, so right off the bat, I think the foundation looks pretty nice. It does look a little bit dry around my mouth, a little bit dry around my nose, and just slightly dry on the cheeks, but for the most part on the cheeks, I feel like it looks really nice. It's supposed to be a mattifying setting spray, so we'll see if this makes the foundation last really well and just how it makes the rest of the makeup last as well throughout the day. So I will do some check-ins throughout the day, let you guys know how the foundation is looking, let you guys know how it is wearing. I think it's looking quite good to start. All right, guys, so it has been about 2.5 hours since I applied the foundation. I will say I can noticeably feel that my face feels kind of dry. I do have combination skin, so I don't know, and I feel like, I mean, I moisturized well and stuff this morning, but yeah, it's just feeling a little bit dry. I don't know, nothing like an overly like issue, but it does feel dry. I kind of feel like I want to put like a moisturizing facial mist on or something. It's kind of rubbed off on my nose a little, but that's probably because I was touching my nose. And then it's kind of come off here a little bit. And I'm gonna come in close so you guys can see if it will focus. Okay, so you can definitely see that it is a bit drying, especially around my chin area. Pretty dry looking. And it's starting to look just like more obvious on the skin. It looks a bit heavy and cakey. Definitely a bit heavy around the nose. Maybe I should have just used one layer. Maybe I applied too much. But I did kind of want to build up the coverage more. But yeah, so this is how it is looking after an hour. And no, sorry, 2.5 hours. Yeah, I mean, from a distance, I feel like my makeup is looking really nice. Everything else, the other makeup that I used, like the Lawless mascara that I'm wearing, their eyeshadow, the highlighter, that's all looking really good. But yeah, so that's how it's doing so far. I will do another check-in a little bit later. All right, you guys, so it has been 6 hours since I applied the foundation. I can definitely say it's looking pretty dry on my skin, and I'm feeling like maybe this formula is just going to be too dry for me. It's just looking really dry on my skin. Trying to get up close so you guys can see. Like, it's just, if this will focus. So it's just like looking like, so you can see it looks heavy and dry around the nose. It looks a bit heavy and like, it just looks like, it just looks dry. Like on my cheeks as well. It's like rubbed off of some areas. Dry around the mouth. But I mean, I still think it like looks pretty, but like it's definitely, I feel like, just too dry for me. I will say I feel like this setting spray has helped it like last well. Like from a distance, like I still feel like it like looks really nice, and most of the coverage has stayed on. So as far as like long lasting wise, I do think that it does seem to be quite long lasting, and I feel like this probably does help to make it last nice as well, because like this is definitely, I feel like this has helped the eyeshadow to last longer. So that's really nice. I'm also wearing the Lawless mascara, and I feel like that has held up really nicely for 6 hours. I feel like it's still looking really good. And then also the eyeshadow, I feel like has lasted pretty well as well. It's definitely kind of like faded a bit, but I feel like it has lasted pretty well for 6 hours. Normally I feel like normally I feel like eyeshadow is kind of more faded than that after 6 hours. So I feel like the setting spray definitely helped with that. I will say, I think I would definitely like this makeup setting spray maybe a little bit better when I do have like more of a dewy base on, like a dewy foundation or like a dewy tinted sunscreen, something like that. I feel like this would be nice because this is supposed to be like a mattifying setting spray. So I think I would like it better for something like that. But because I feel like the foundation formula already is quite dry on my skin, it is supposed to have a matte finish, I feel like just using this setting spray on top of that might just be like overdoing it a little bit. But honestly, I feel like even the foundation on its own, I feel like it would still be looking a bit dry on me. So that is my experience from somebody with acne-prone skin. So if you have a similar skin type, you might have this same issue where it just looks quite dry. But like, I think the coverage has, you know, the coverage is nice. I think it looks pretty, like at least at first, for the first like couple hours, I feel like it still looks really nice. But after that, I feel like I could definitely just start noticing that it was just looking more and more dry. But yeah, so hopefully this helped you guys out. Obviously, everybody's gonna have a different experience, even if you have a combination skin. Who knows, you still might not find it to be as drying as I did. But yeah, so I know I've seen other reviews where people have really liked how it looked throughout the day. So it still might be something that you would want to test out for yourself. Foundation, makeup, skincare, it can all be so individual. So my experience is just my experience, and you might not have the same experience. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. And if you want to see even more content from me, I would absolutely love it if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Now I am going to be posting a full face of Lawless, which is this full look that I had on. The lips have come off now because I did eat lunch, so that lipstick came off. But if you want to see how I created this look, definitely check out my full face of Lawless video. But yeah, so anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all for my next video. Bye guys.